The subway screeched into the station just as Ethan stepped in, gripping his worn backpack and praying he wouldn't be late for his second job. The last thing he expected was the sound of a baby's heart-piercing cry echoing through the crowded train. People groaned, shifted away, plugged in headphones, but one man stood frozen. A sharply dressed millionaire, Lucas Harrington, known in business circles as a cold perfectionist. But today? His hands were trembling. His baby girl wailed uncontrollably in his arms. Ethan watched him struggle, sweat on his forehead, panic in his eyes, formula bottle shaking uselessly in his hand. For a moment, Ethan hesitated. He barely had enough money for dinner. He had his own toddler waiting at home. His life was a daily fight. Yet something inside him whispered, "Help him." Ethan slowly stepped forward and said gently, "May I?" Lucas turned, startled. I don't know what she wants. Her mom, she's not here. I'm trying." Ethan smiled softly and picked up the baby with practiced hands. He began humming the lullaby he sang to his own son every night. The crying stopped. Instantly. The entire train stared, stunned. Lucas's eyes filled with something Ethan didn't expect, gratitude mixed with shame. "How did you?" Ethan shrugged. "Single dad instincts." For the first time, Lucas let out a shaky laugh. "I guess money can't buy everything, especially this." As the train rattled forward, something shifted, two fathers, worlds apart, connected by the smallest act of humanity. For the rest of the subway ride, Lucas watched Ethan in quiet amazement. The man seemed to radiate calm, something Lucas hadn't felt in months. His daughter, Lily, now rested peacefully in Ethan's arms, tiny fingers gripping his shirt as if she trusted him instantly. "You're really good with kids," Lucas finally said. Ethan chuckled. "My son, Noah, trained me well. He's 3. A professional troublemaker." Lucas cracked a faint smile, but it didn't hide the exhaustion beneath it. His tie was loosened, his eyes rimmed red from sleepless nights, and his voice carried a heaviness Ethan recognized too well, the weight of doing everything alone. Lucas hesitated before speaking again. "I've tried nannies. Nurses. Everything. But Lily, she only calms down with her mother. And she's not in the picture anymore." Ethan didn't push. Pain has a tone, and Lucas carried it like a shadow. When the train slowed at the next station, Lily stirred. Lucas instinctively panicked, but Ethan shifted her gently and she settled again. A woman nearby whispered, "That young dad knows what he's doing." Another nodded. "Wish more men stepped up like that." Lucas heard it all, and guilt stung his chest. He was used to being praised for his wealth, his business empire, his achievements, yet here he was, failing at the one thing that mattered most. The train jolted, and Lily whimpered. Ethan leaned close to Lucas. "She's sensitive to sudden movement. Try rocking her slowly, like this." He demonstrated, careful and patient. Lucas mimicked him, awkward at first, then steady. And Lily, relaxed. Lucas looked at Ethan as if seeing a miracle. "I don't know how to thank you." Ethan replied softly, "Sometimes a little help goes a long way." What neither man knew was that this simple moment would change both their lives forever. The train screeched to another stop, and more passengers squeezed in. Lucas instinctively shielded Lily, but Ethan placed a steadying hand on his shoulder. "You're doing fine," he assured him. For a man worth millions, Lucas looked shockingly fragile, like someone who had built skyscrapers yet didn't know how to hold his own world together. Ethan finally asked, "You heading home?" Lucas exhaled slowly. "No. I'm heading to a meeting. I run Harrington Enterprises." Ethan's eyebrows lifted. He'd heard of it, everyone had. It was the type of company that owned half the billboards in the city, the type he could never imagine stepping inside. "And you're taking the subway?" Ethan asked, surprised. Lucas let out a tired laugh. My driver quit this morning. Said I was impossible to work with. Probably true. There was no arrogance in his tone, just honesty. Another jolt shook the train, and Lily started fussing again. This time, Lucas took a breath and rocked her the way Ethan taught him. To everyone's astonishment, she calmed. Ethan grinned. Look at you. Natural talent. Lucas shook his head. No. Just a desperate dad trying not to mess things up. The train neared downtown. Tall glass buildings gleamed outside, Lucas's world, not Ethan's. Ethan shifted uncomfortably, aware his stop was approaching. Lucas glanced at him. Ethan, would you consider helping me? Even just for a few hours? I have no one else. Ethan blinked. You mean, like watching Lily? Lucas nodded. I'll pay you well. Really well. Ethan hesitated. He needed the money, he desperately needed it. Rent was due. Noah needed new shoes. But taking responsibility for a millionaire's baby? That wasn't a small favor. Still, kindness had brought them together. And something told Ethan this journey wasn't over yet. Ethan stepped off the train with Lucas right behind him, both men moving through the rush of downtown like they lived in two different worlds, because they did. The city hummed with noise, but all Lucas could hear was the quiet rhythm of Lily breathing softly against his chest. Look, Lucas, Ethan began, adjusting his backpack, I appreciate the offer. Really? But I already juggle 2 jobs. I'm barely keeping up as it is. Lucas swallowed hard. I understand. I'm falling apart. There was no pride left in him, only vulnerability. They reached the street corner. Ethan was about to turn away when he saw something he hadn't expected, Lucas blinking back tears, clutching Lily as if she were the last part of his life that still made sense. Ethan sighed. All right. I'll help. But not for money. Lucas looked up sharply. Then why? Because you remind me of me, when my wife left, Ethan said quietly. Lost. Overwhelmed. Trying to smile while everything inside you collapses. Lucas froze. No one had ever said something so real to him. They found a nearby bench. Ethan showed Lucas how to check the baby's diaper, how to support her neck, how to soothe her with gentle circles on her back. Lucas listened with the focus of a man learning the one skill money couldn't buy. Like this? Lucas asked, awkwardly rocking her. Ethan nodded. She likes slow and steady. To his amazement, Lily smiled, a tiny, warm, perfect smile. Lucas stared at her, breath catching. I've never seen her do that. Ethan grinned. Guess she finally feels safe. In that moment, something stronger than luck or chance connected the two dads, an unspoken understanding shaped by struggle, love, and the fear of failing the little ones who needed them most. Lucas couldn't stop staring at Lily's tiny smile. It was the first genuine moment of peace he'd seen in weeks, maybe months. And it came from a stranger, a struggling single dad who had nothing to offer except time, patience, and heart. Ethan, Lucas said quietly, I don't know how long I've been pretending everything is fine. But I'm tired. I don't have anyone in my life who understands this. Ethan chuckled softly. You do now. A silence settled between them, not awkward, but comforting. Two fathers united not by wealth, not by status, but by the raw, human weight of raising children alone. Lucas hesitated before speaking again. I meant what I said earlier. I could really use your help. Not as a nanny. Not as a worker. As someone who gets it. Ethan looked down at his worn shoes. He had bills piling up at home, a boss who didn't care, and a son who deserved the world. But somehow, this moment felt bigger than both his problems and his pride. What exactly are you asking? Ethan finally said. Lucas took a deep breath. Come work for me. Full time. Flexible hours. Bring your son. I'll make sure you're paid enough to breathe again. Ethan blinked, stunned. You don't even know me. Lucas smiled sadly. I know you cared for my daughter when the entire train ignored us. That's more than I can say for most people I've known my whole life. Lily stirred, reaching out her tiny hand toward Ethan. And in that small gesture, he felt the universe answer for him. All right, Ethan said softly. Let's give it a try. Two men from different worlds walked forward, toward a partnership, a friendship, and a future none of them expected. Sometimes the smallest cry on a subway can lead to the biggest change in someone's life.